Okay. Let me check this, make sure this is okay. And then I'll get into what do I have? Okay, that's good. All right. So let's see what we have. Okay, we have the San Francisco bar that they're having a reparations drag show. Whatever the fuck that is, I have no clue what the hell that is. There was what was that? Biden got busted with the calling cards. I'm trying to figure out whether or not that. I don't think that's Photoshop, but I was like, I'm not surprised he got caught with that. You have Juneteenth, and you have with some people on the right being absolutely toxic. And I don't understand how you going to be that toxic and then be surprised when people don't vote for you. I don't understand that. Right? Maybe they're feeling a bit more arrogant because they're getting apparently like the young black male vote, which is making them a bit more arrogant. But that area, like you're just gonna lose it next election because you have nothing on offer. So I don't get what they mean like that. I might go over the Miles Morales thing just because that is funny. Because I don't know who's seen that, but that shit was funny. All right, let me see. I mean, it was fucked up, but it was funny fucked up. So let me see. Where is it? Where is it? I'm debating which one to do first. Let's see. Should I do the shit libs? Because that I have some stories of some shit libs being funny. Or you know what? No, we'll do this one first. This one. Hey, how you doing? Doing Alchemist? All right, we'll do this because the alphabet's doing this again. They're doing this shit again that they did 2 years ago. They are doing this again, bruh. Like, why are y'all doing this? For real. Why y'all do that? Why Alphabet always doing this? So I saw this. They're having a San Francisco bar. I'm trying to find the bar, but they're having a reparations drag show. Again, are the proceeds obviously are not going to any families like ADOS families or anything. So I don't know why I'm using the term reparations, but I've already brought this up that the alphabet loves to do this. They did this 2 years ago and they spent the money on themselves, sending it to a mostly white alphabet charity. All right, Alphabet, you want to piss black people off? This is how you piss black people off. Because now the white ignorants are latching on to this. And I'll show you more of that in a second because they're doing it with Juneteenth too. This is what they latch on to. But they're doing free tickets for trans and black disabled only. Well, now I have to ask, what is it? What is it reparations for? See, they love using the title. They love doing this. They love using the title. They love exploiting the issue for gain, even though that's not what they're using it for. Alphabet, stop trying to groom black people. Like, not take that shit into the white communities and keep it. No, nothing against y'all. I'm just saying that's where it should stay. But it's required you say, do you identify as black, trans, or black disabled? So hold up. So as an able-bodied black man, I would have to pay. Reparations for what? To Black Alphabet? So you're gonna make an A you're gonna make an ADOS black men. I don't know. There's not gonna be any ADOS black men there, but I'm saying in theory, you would make them pay a reparations fee to who? Who the fuck? Why are you always doing this? I brought this up 2 years ago when they did the reparations fees, the San Francisco reparations fees, and they were doing that nonsense on what was it? They were trying to. I just blanked out. They were trying to raise money by saying white people have to pay reparations fees, and then they were giving that money to a mostly white alphabet charity. So I'm like, it sounds like you just kind of want to exploit the issue to make money, which is like, I think many black people relate to that because American history, throughout American history, that tends to be the case. Everyone loves to compare. Everyone loves to compare whatever they're going through to Black history for some reason. Y'all notice that? They do that with you'll hear someone on the right will say like, they'll say like, what was it? They'll say like drag is basically like blackface for some reason. That's one of them. It's like, no, it's not. Those are not even remotely similar or serve the same purpose. I don't know. It seems like when y'all can't make your point, that's what you jump to. Let me guess. You have toxic white ignorance. I consider this the final settlement on the reparations issue. Yeah. I had a feeling you were going to get ignorance like that. The end of society looks like. Oh, God. Oh, yeah. I don't know why they're fucking doing this shit again, bro. But if you want to make, black people more hostile to you, you're doing a good job. This is what I never got. I was like, even like Alphabet in general, what they've been doing all month. I'm like, if you wanted to, you wanted to spread things like gay marriage or gay rights, you want to spread that like, all over the world and shit like that. Why would you be acting the way you're acting? Right? Like if you wanted to get China or say like Russia or somewhere where they don't allow that on board, why would you be acting the way you act here? Because I'm pretty sure you're just kind of like destroying your own argument for yourself. Because I'm like, you try to push it there, like those places are going to point to America and go, look what they're doing there. I'm just saying, like, I don't understand the strategy. Just explain it to me how this is going to work, because I don't think this is going to work. I'm pretty sure it's going to stay contained within the West. It's not going to spread outside of that. Identity politics, intersectionality is the best thing that happened to America. It's funny, but it also pisses me off. I cannot stand intersectionality. It's annoying because what it often just comes down to is, how do people get into business that isn't theirs? That's my issue with it. I just see so many groups trying to get in on another group's issue. This is why we have like, you'll see, like I said, you'll see the alphabet show up when it comes to like reparations all the time. And I'm like, what are you doing here? This is not your issue. Right? Or they'll try to do they'll try to cross that shit up so they can step into lanes that aren't theirs. I'm not a fan of the term stay in your lane, but it's in some cases it's applicable. Because I've seen this said to me so many times, and it's annoying. It's like, no, reparations is an ADOS issue. You can stay out of it. If you're not that, go away. Stop trying to link it back to whatever. I don't care what kind of mental gymnastics you're trying to do. Stop trying to like lead it back to someone it has nothing to do with. Because that shit's annoying. Also because it dilutes the arguments and it makes for easy straw men for the other side to attack. As we'll see in a second. Okay, what was I don't know what to do next, bro. There is so much nonsense. There was, oh my god, did you see all of the freaking vitriolic and venomous hatred going on right now with Juneteenth? You notice you'll rarely see men participate in such fuckery. Even black gay men know it's crazy. I know. Yeah, that's why I said this is some white culture shit. You don't see that. I mean, it's sort of like the body positivity thing. It's like you just see a bunch of ugly fat women because fat men know they're fat and shouldn't be doing that. And they're going, yeah, I got to work on that. Body positivity is like mostly just fat women complaining who are just trying to make excuses. And they'll be like, they'll say some stupid shit like, I walk a mile every day and I've only gained weight or lose weight. That proves it doesn't work. And it's like, bitch, you walked a mile and then ate like a 2,000 calorie lunch. No wonder you're still fat. That's why. Or like a lot of this, or like, for example, like the whole more people identifying as, LGBT, and then often it's overwhelmingly women who are doing this, and they're calling themselves like bi or some stupid shit. And I'm like, yo, I've heard women who say they're bi. I'm like, no, you're not. If you ever met somebody with like top tier game, you'd be convinced there's no such thing as a lesbian. I don't even bother with that, but yes, I have this open. I have three videos on Juneteenth because it wasn't just Newsmax doing it. You had TPUSA doing it. You had Daily Wire doing it, and I don't understand. It's like they just want to push black people out, because if you want to claim it's Juneteenth is divisive, I don't. What is the purpose of that? If you were trying to like the strategically the better way to frame it, if you actually wanted a black vote, would to frame it as the left is trying to use it to be divisive. We're going to celebrate it, right? We're going to celebrate it the way it should be celebrated. Instead, you brush it aside and go, this is just divisive. I was like, best way to like wreck shit libs is to one up them. If you practically one up a shit lib, they get mad because they never actually want to do anything. They just want to virtue signal like they will do something, but they won't actually do something. If you do something, they get pissed because now they feel like they have to do something and they don't want to do anything. Oh God, Tatum did something. I didn't see that because I don't follow Tatum. Oh Lord. Let me guess. Tatum saying something divisive, racist. Why are we talking about this? Black people are whining just to celebrate 4th of July like Americans. If I'm in the ballpark, let me know. He's not exactly unpredictable. Which one? Here it is. I have it right here. Oh Lord, fucking Newsmax, bro. Tatum. Oh wait, Tatum and Amala did one too. PragerU did one too. Why they don't celebrate Juneteenth? Look, if you don't want to, it's one thing. If you don't want to, it's just that they're trying to they're virtue signaling it to their audience. And it's like, why does that resonate with your audience? Because a lot of their reasoning, I'm like, I don't. It's sort of like when they try to go, they bring up the Frederick Douglass thing and why he wouldn't celebrate 4th of July. And then they go, but now we don't have that anymore. And I'm like, I don't feel very included. I think a lot of black people don't feel very included in the country when every time we want to talk about our problems, we get shoved aside or told we don't matter. Sure, the Democrats will loan some lip service, but then they just stab you in the back 2 seconds later. I'm like, so why should we? Doesn't feel like we have much stake in the country when everything we do gets pushed aside. Wait, hold up, my thing fell. Oh my God. I have a wire jungle under me. Oh no. Oh no. No, there's too many. Why do I make wire jungles? I'm irresponsible. Okay. This is the longest one. I probably won't go through all of it because it's pretty trash, but I do have some other ones. Maybe you'll look at the Tatum one if I don't take too much time. I already know it's like, I probably won't get through that one because it's like, what do you want me to say to him? Oh, I told all of his white supporters to enjoy the holiday and chill with their families instead of reading and throwing tantrums like SJWs they claim to hate. Yeah, because they are SJWs. They're right-wing SJWs. Tatum knows what he's doing. Tatum knows he's playing one of the good ones. He knows that's his role. Right? So sort of like, him or your Jesse Bussy Warrior Lee Petersons. They know they're gonna virtue signal about it. They're not just gonna say that they're just gonna accept the day off. They gotta like play into like how much they don't like the holiday because they're really trying to play that one of the good ones archetype.
For a 3-day weekend? Thank you, Juneteenth. As to what Juneteenth is, a lot of folks are still understandably iffy on that because we were having a very insincere conversation nationally about race. And Juneteenth came about.
Well, who's being insincere? Is it the left or is it the right? Or is it both? Because let's be honest, it's both. And neither side wants to have that conversation. Because the left will just say stupid shit, and the right will just tell you to F off. Like, they'll just say some stupid shit like 1350, now F off. So I don't see how that's relevant.
For to make it a holiday, not so complex reasons to get Trump. All right. It was a wedge issue. And that's too bad. It
wasn't a wedge issue. Okay.
Is, but 3-day weekend, here it comes.
Oh no. I like how you're so angry at Juneteenth you can't even just take the 3-day weekend, right? Like if we got an extra holiday for something like I wouldn't celebrate, I'm not gonna go up and virtue signal how much I don't like it. I'm just gonna be like, okay. Right? I'm like, cool. Like if they made a Jewish holiday, like a national holiday or something, to get a day off, I just be like, all right, cool. Good on you, Jews. I'm happy for you that you got a recognized national holiday. I'm not gonna be like, go make videos about how angry I am. But then again, it's like, I don't hate Jewish people. The funny thing is that the initial bill was co-sponsored by John Cornyn. RTX Cornyn is the senior senator from Texas. Interesting. Like, as far as the Juneteenth thing does, it doesn't even do anything. That's my thing. It's like, okay, you get an extra day off. It doesn't actually solve any problems. Like, I was just like, okay, cool. It's a gesture. All right, it's nice, but it's not tangible to anything. So I'm like, I honestly didn't really care when it passed. I was just like, okay, cool. The fact you want to like go out of your way to hate it is the thing that always gets me.
We have a cookbook first. Watermelon and Redbirds. It's a cookbook for Juneteenth and Black celebrations.
The start of Juneteenth celebrations kicking off across the Bay Area.
Bronx is honoring Juneteenth with a flag raising at Borough Hall.
Today's a special day because it's Juneteenth.
The Black Food and Wine Experience honors Juneteenth, the holiday that celebrates the end of slavery.
Soul of a Nation presents Sound of Freedom,
a Juneteenth celebration.
The event special premieres Friday at 8/7 Central on ABC.
I'm honestly not.
So right off the bat, how does any of that bother you? What is wrong with any of what he just showed? Because he's showing it because he's trying to show there's something wrong with it. What was wrong with that? Why does that bother you? Why are you so fragile? See, this is the concept of white fragility people talk about. You make it very hard to disprove when y'all do this. My biggest issue is the commercialization of the holiday. Well, yeah, I don't like that either, especially with things like Christmas and Easter as well. I'm not a fan of that in any way. Because then you just get those annoying pandering commercials all the time, and that stupid music. God, that shit drives me crazy.
Not into it. Number one, I don't think we need a 3-day weekend. The federal employees don't. The federal government does. Not just 2 weeks before July 4th. Why
not? It's an extra fucking paid day off. I don't even know why that's... Oh, God. American work culture is really toxic. Some people, it's really toxic. They just want to go like all the time. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I got other shit, other personal shit I want to work on. I'll take those extra days. If you want to work, then fucking work. God.
Moment, July 4th, for everybody.
There it is. What about all Americans? I knew that was coming somewhere. I didn't watch this whole video ahead of time. I've only seen parts of it. I knew that shit was coming. I know all these talking points, bro. You can't get me with these. Did you see the Afro comb? I am going to get to that. I have that listed too. God, that was stupid. But I do have that.
Everybody's proud. It brings people together. But the Juneteenth conversation wasn't a real one. It was used as a political weapon to get Trump. It really was. Here's Joe, barely hanging on, announcing the Juneteenth holiday declaration.
And today, we consecrate Juneteenth for what it ought to be, what it must be, a national holiday.
Of course it must be. Joe.
I don't give a shit about anything Biden has to say because we already know Biden doesn't give a shit about black people. He has a history, a long, long history. ADOS people celebrate July 4th more than Juneteenth. I don't get it. Look, it's because anti-black racism resonates with the right, and that's the problem. I'm like, this is why y'all can't get anywhere. Because y'all consider, this is what I was talking about when I was saying, these morons always talk about they don't understand how they can't get the black vote. And it's like, I do, because every single time I've gone to these people or talked to these people, as soon as I bring up black issues, you call me a woke lefty. And I'm like, you're inherently saying, because a lot of black, for reparations, for example, most black conservatives agree with it. Not these people you see propped up by these white right-wing channels, like actual black conservatives agree with reparations. If you go and say that's some woke lefty shit, you are telling black people that's, if you want to get anywhere with those issues, go over there. Then these morons go, they must be brainwashed by Democrats. That's why they don't vote for us, because they're stupid. And it's like, you literally just said, go vote for them. And when they do, you're like, wow, they're dumb. Why don't they vote for us? I was like, I don't get these people, bro. They're fucking dumb. These people, I was like, I don't know which is more dumb, the left or the right. They're both just really dumb.
Biden's been passionate about Juneteenth since he got to office all the way back in 1972, right? No. As a matter of fact, he never mentioned Juneteenth, okay, for 48 years. Never crossed.
What? You mean Biden doesn't care about anything having to do with black people? Oh, no. Wow, that's a shocker. No, literally nobody is shocked by that. We can go look at Biden's history.
His mind, never knew anything about it. He still doesn't seem to know exactly what it is.
He's going down to Texas on Juneteenth, right? The first major massacre, literally speaking, of the Black Wall Street, right?
Wait, what? Did he just confuse Tulsa with Juneteenth?
Years ago.
Wrong. That's not true, Joe. Still struggling after all these years. What is Juneteenth for real?
On June 19th, 1865, a Union general and some 2,000 troops arrived in Galveston Bay, Texas, to tell more than 250,000 freed black people that they no longer had to live enslaved.
Oh, freedom. Okay,
wow.
We know.
Significant. All the way back, of course, in the 1800s. Why did it become an issue, though, all of a sudden? Why so much urgency? It was to get Trump. Remember during COVID?
Trump would have supported this. Trump did support this. What? How is this to get Trump? Why is this a thing? Okay. All right.
And he was aching to get back on the campaign trail. And he had an event scheduled for June 19th. And all hell broke loose. How could he have it on June 19th?
I don't care.
This is what they said at the time.
Trump is so oblivious. He didn't even realize how messed up it would be to have a rally on Juneteenth.
Listen, Brother Trump, that I'm born in Tulsa. So
we already know they're going to. Okay.
Not top of mind. They were used, though, as an issue to get Trump once again, to make him appear. Number one, he writes, and it was serialized in Politico way back, Trump's response was also impaired by his stunning disregard for history, particularly compared to most other modern presidents. Remember,
I don't think Trump disregards history. I think he literally doesn't know history. If I'm being really honest about Trump, come on. I'm sure when that was brought up to him, Trump had no clue what that was. I'm pretty sure Trump didn't even know the whole Bill of Rights by memory when he became president. Do I always diagnose the wrong ailments? Juneteenth was used to score political point, but I've heard white conservatives say it's a made-up fake holiday. Yeah, it's not. It's been celebrated for a long time. You had people who are always trying to make it a federal holiday. I don't understand really why, because I'm like, it's not going to change anything. It's kind of like a waste of time. I'm like, kind of whatever. But it's like, now it's here. It's just fucking roll with it. I don't know why you guys are going to fight against it. Like, why is that? I just don't get these people. I mean, I get where they're coming from, but I'm like, I don't see why, like, the people who are not orchestrating this shit, how they can't see through this. Ignorance. For some, it's ignorance. For some, it's blatant racism. Like I said, a lot of these thought leaders, they know what to say and they know what they have to say, and these thought leaders know who to prop up. They know who they want at the top. You heard it at the back as a federal holiday in the early 90s. Yeah, I remember this. So I'm like, I don't get what these people are on about. It's because they just want to pay attention because the left was like, hey, here's an issue we can push for just for virtue signaling points, and then the right had to come out and oppose it. I kept saying the right should just one-up them because that shit would be funny, and they get angry when you do that. That's why I was like, you should have had these places just like one-up the left and go like, here's what Juneteenth should be about, right? And then like actually have a celebration of, unity and freeing slaves and all that. Try to route it back to that. But instead you came out against it. And I don't know why. I just said, well, the left is trying to use it to be divisive. And I was like, okay, so use it to be unifying. Because you said that's what it's there for. I'm like, okay, but you couldn't handle it. I just flip it on him.
For that part, other modern presidents. 2 days after announcing his rally, Trump turned to a Secret Service.
Okay,
An American Secret Service agent knew what it was. I had political people who had
people know who
what did Barack Obama do for Juneteenth? We looked it up. Nothing. Take a look. This is.
And are they literally trying to bring the who gives a fuck what Obama does? Right? Obama, trying to act like Obama was some kind of like pro-black president or something. Obama was too busy murdering kids and invading countries to care about what was going on here. Right? The strange thing is that this event happened under Lincoln. The party claims to be the most important politician leader. Lincoln also was for reparations, saying we need to do this. That's the thing I don't get. This is why I said when the right tries to go, well, Democrats were the party of slavery, they're the party of Jim Crow, and I'm like, okay, and the Republicans were the party of reparations. So either you live up to your own past or stop trying to bring up their past as an attack, because that's kind of dumb. So I'm like, yeah, your most important political leader was for reparations. It's like they love to bring up Lincoln all the time. And it's like, you don't even live up to the things he stood for. Y'all just like the fucking Democrats. That's why I was like, there wasn't really a party flip necessarily. I was like, there was and there wasn't. In some way, it's hard to explain, but there was and there wasn't. Sort of like when they say there was no party flip, I was like, I don't see Democrats holding the flags of treasonous Democrats. Just putting that out there, because I've only seen one side hold the flag of treasonous Democrats. But more so, in reality, it's both went to the same side. At least in terms of race relations, racial issues, they're the same side. It was more so the Republicans went over to the same side. Yeah, they're not the party of Lincoln. They're not the same GOP of the mid 1800s. That's a load of shit. It's like when Bernie tries to bring up, I marched for civil rights in the 60s. I'm like, okay, and I don't care. Like, you did something way like a long time ago. What have you done since then? Nothing? Okay, I don't care.
Juneteenth, 2009. Time for him to tell jokes.
I want to express my appreciation for the opportunity to tell jokes that weren't funny enough for me to use when we did this 5 weeks ago. Whatever.
Wow, he can tell jokes on Juneteenth, but President Trump can't have a political rally. How about that? What happened in 2013?
As I've said, Angela and I don't exactly look like previous German and American leaders.
Wow. Again, cracking jokes. He has no respect for African American history. I'm sorry. And it continues like this in 2016.
I don't understand. Is this like a revelation? I guess for white ignorance, this is a revelation that Obama was not a pro-black president. Did y'all just, although it's selective because they'll go back to magically he was when they want to try to disprove systemic racism or something. They'll do we had a black president, and it's like, and? So do you selectively remember that Obama was not a pro-black president? Is this just a selective thing? Just sort of like the concept of self-hatred on the right? Is a selective thing when it's relevant?
At the White House,
yeah, I don't give a shit what Obama has to say.
You know what would be great? Martin Luther King. More discussion about Martin Luther King.
Oh, no, you don't want that. No, the right does not want that. Because they only know one line the brother said. They didn't know anything else he said. Because if they did, they wouldn't like him. Right? You can't, other than the don't judge people, that's the only line y'all know about him. You will not mention a fucking word of anything else he said, even in that same speech. So don't try that shit. Y'all don't want to celebrate him because I've talked to some of these ignorants and I've taken some of his own quotes. I didn't say it was him, and they called that shit CRT. So I'm like, no, because if we started talking about what MLK had to say, you're going to start calling that shit CRT and going, no, we don't need this. Stop trying to weaponize black history and black leaders against black people. Knock that shit off. That's just not funny.
You know, we actually did have a national conversation, a long one, a controversial one about making MLK Day a national holiday. I'm glad it is, actually. Judging people by the content of their character, not the color of their skin.
What did I say? That's the only thing they know about this man. That is the only thing they know about this dude, is that one line, because that's the only thing they can repeat. He said a lot of other shit in that speech. You want to bring up how America wrote the black man a bad check? You want to talk about that? Because that's in the same speech. They don't want to talk about that part. They want to cut that part out. They just want that same line. Oh, fuck, y'all so predictable, bruh. what was it? I think it was Jordan Peterson who said it. You can tell when you're dealing with like an ideologue if you can predict everything they're going to say. Because as soon as I hear MLK out of the right's mouth, I'm like, I know what's coming next. The only thing they know how to say. And this is exactly why we need to teach Black history. This is exactly why. Because if you don't know that full speech, yeah, that would piss you off. If these ignorants who are preaching a lot of this shit, if they knew the full speech, that they would be pissed off. They would not want to hear from him, especially his later stuff, because he got more radical later on.
How quaint, quite frankly. You notice the liberals, they actually roll their eyes at Dr. King and his legacy today.
When did they do that?
How sad. All right. Hey, I got a question. Do you think Nancy Pelosi knows what Juneteenth is?
With all of the...
Oh my God. You're going to just point to shitlibs? Shitlibs don't know what it is either. They just latched onto it because they think, oh, this is a popular position. Oh, look, this helps me look good on Facebook, or this makes me look good to my constituents. Sure, I support and know what that is. No, they don't. Don't even try that shit. We know they don't care.
The constraints that COVID has.
Don't give a shit.
If she were just some kooky congresswoman, but she's second in line to be president of the United States. If anything happens, she could be. And of course, first in line is Kamala Harris. We could play hours of her being weird. You've seen it all before. She is vice president of the United States. Wow, just one spot ahead of Kamala Harris. And of course, Joe Biden is president. And all right, just a little moment from this week.
I don't want to hear any more of these lies about reckless spending. We're changing people's lives.
Dogs right now. And they come up with the craziest things. This digital governance board, this crazy guy. So they're trying a new front person, at least a promoter, a great tennis player by the name of Sloane Stephens. Okay, I mean, this is definitely more attractive, more appealing than that creepy Mayorkas. But she came out and she said some things that, quite frankly, are wrong and potentially dangerous. Take a look.
Out of sheer survival, I've spent my career trying to desensitize myself on how unacceptable this is, escalating to authorities when credible, and constantly in therapy to process.
Okay, she's complaining about being bullied online. I mean, I'm sorry it happens to her. It happens.
What the fuck does this have to do with Juneteenth?
Harassment.
Is he on a tangent to something else now? The American right have latched onto that single line of MLK speech. Yeah, and they know. I mean, the idiots who repeat it don't know, but the smarter people on the right, they know what they're doing. They know they want to cut the rest of that speech out. They just want to make sure they drill that one point into your head over and over and over and over. They won't read the rest. They won't read what he said later, after that speech. They don't want that. Because they don't want to have that conversation. The Dems do it, so we must do it. Yeah, basically, that's what they do. But now it's like, what the fuck does this have to? The rest of this have to do with Juneteenth?
Nearly 1 in 4 Asian Americans.
How about ISIS? How about
and social media and other?
Okay, that's stupid. Where was that other one? I lost the link. There was that other one where he was even more venomous. Did you see the other one where he was saying how it's just another excuse to basically drink and smoke weed? I'm dead fucking serious. He legit said that. Oh, but of course it never ends. Man, because if the right can, the right will milk anti-black racism as far as it'll go, because all of them getting on it. I don't know if you all saw this one, because I didn't see this one go around with TPUSA. Because this one was just as bad. Same thing that black conservatives do with Malcolm X about white liberals. Yeah, they cut the second part of that quote out. I have always said that whenever they go, the white liberals' most dangerous threat to the Negro man, I always ask, what did he say right after that? And none of them can answer that question. Because they don't know what he said about white conservatives literally a second later. They don't know about the wolf and the fox. Because these people don't, they're just taught certain things. Because it's just to weaponize our own history against us. Why are the Mexicans commenting about Juneteenth? No, because he works for TPUSA, so right, he's gotta market himself. He's got to market himself to white conservatives. So it doesn't matter because anti-black racism is what makes the money on the right. So all of them have to do it. You wanna get in line, you got to do it. They're Mexicans. Juneteenth is none of their fucking business. I mean, I know, but like I said, but it's who has the money behind them. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of white conservatives are commenting on Juneteenth. You got to look at who's the money behind them because TPUSA, they will yeet you. I mean, they gave the yeet to tons of. At one point, they've had pro-black conservatives on. They got the yeet real quick, right? Because no, that was CPAC. No, wait, that was CPAC. I think. Wait, no. Yeah, that was CPAC. These friggin' these alphabet agencies, man, or organizations. I always get them mixed up. That was CPAC where they yeeted the pro-black conservatives. But I was like, yeah, Dennis Prager, have you seen, or like, because I know he gives to TPUSA, and like Charlie Kirk. I mean, Charlie Kirk's who made Candace Owens, so we kind of know, who we're dealing with. Because when her dad gave Charlie Kirk a ton of money to promote her once her left-wing grifting career fell apart because she couldn't do it. Damn, it's like, man, imagine failing grifting on the left. That's sad. That's so easy to do. That's one of like the easiest things to do. Small hats are funding. Come on. You don't got to be like that. I mean, like I said, they're pandering to an audience, at least on the right. They're going to have all their hosts speak out against, Juneteenth because it's like, yeah, it makes white conservatives feel really good. Whenever you black bash, man, that makes them feel good. Because they just want they want their reinforced racist stereotypes. Because that makes money. There's more money in doing that. If Okafor regretted working with PragerU and Library University, I imagine. Because I'm like, man, you see some of the black people that they prop up. Or who they'll say that they like. Like you'll see who like people like Dennis Prager who will promote as his black intellectuals. I've heard him talk about which ones he thinks. He's talking about Larry Elder and like Jesse Lee Peterson. And I'm like, these are your heavy hitting black intellectuals? You're just like, wow. Okay. Especially Jesse Lee Peterson. That one's like, really? He's not even for real. He's playing a character. You could tell he's playing a character too, man. He plays dumb. He does that on purpose. He's actually a lot smarter than he looks. Oh, okay. She is. I imagine if you're a black female gun advocate, you wouldn't like working for these people. Anyway, okay, I'm getting distracted. Let me see.
As a black woman today because it is Juneteenth. Happy Juneteenth, by the way.
Oh, yes.
I'm now transracial because you can do that. So I'm a transracial black man. Thank you for inviting me to the show. Just want to make sure that we're as inclusive as possible on this very sacred holiday that we just started celebrating a year ago.
Here, speaking
Not true, but okay.
of Juneteenth, here's this cringe video that went up. I think this was on Entertainment. Angela Bassett talking about Juneteenth, and it's for anyone who's felt unseen. Take a look.
Juneteenth. Juneteenth, of course, that's the day when slaves in Texas found out 2 years later that they had been freed.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel if you open your eyes.
My ancestors contributed to this great nation. Their freedoms were beginning to be open and presented.
Okay, so they're already coming at this, framing this as a negative. How are you framing this? Because you can see how they're setting this up, right? They're setting this up. How are you going to attack that? What is wrong with that statement? Everything she said was true. She's affiliated with Gun Owners of America? Okay, cool. I'll look her up after this. Mostly when I go to black gun ownership, I go to Maj about that stuff.
This country.
I've been broken, but I survived.
Juneteenth. It's a celebratory day. Everyone wants to be represented, to be seen, to be appreciated and acknowledged. So that's that day. It's a day not only for African Americans, but anyone who has felt unseen, anyone who fights for freedoms.
What is wrong with that statement? How are you going to attack that? There is nothing wrong with what she said. Everything she said was 100% true. Okay, let's find out. Let's find out how this will be framed as a bad thing.
Black Lives Matter Phoenix had to cancel. BLM Phoenix had to cancel their Juneteenth celebration because they said, we unfortunately did not have the capacity or momentum behind this event. That's how important Juneteenth is, apparently.
Because this is the Black Lives Matter organization and nobody likes them? What the fuck? Black people don't like the BLM organization. What the hell? And all the stupid shit they stand for? No shit. No shit, black people didn't show up. Nobody likes them. The only group that likes them is white liberals and corporations. That's where they get their money from. Like, I don't get, like, no shit. That's not a shocker.
To the community that they can't even get anybody out to celebrate it. But it's a freaking federal holiday.
You
Why?
know, I'm gonna
because
blame
we
this.
pander to BLM. Because please stop rioting, communists.
Drew, I'm gonna go ahead.
It wasn't BLM pushing for Juneteenth as a holiday? Wait, what? When did BLM ever do that? Because I remember it was other activists who were doing that for a long time, for like a couple decades. I don't remember that, like, maybe they tacitly mentioned it for virtue signaling, but I don't remember BLM making this like their big push. BLM is not a black organization. That's a stale, guys. Yeah, it's not a black organization. I've always been like, all their funding comes from like white-owned corporations and white liberals, like guilty white liberals. That's where they get their money from. They have scammed the black community on multiple occasions. They have tried to exploit. Like literal victims of police brutality to get money for themselves. They didn't give it to the families or anything. They took it and pocketed it. It's like they do nothing. It's just a name, right? You look at what they stand for in their own website and it's like, do you think black people agree with that? Like, it amazes me. They'll say, we're for the destruction of the nuclear family. Do you think black people agree with that? Do you think overwhelmingly religious, Christian black people agree with that idea? No, they don't. I'm like, who does agree with that idea? Who does tend to agree with that idea? Shit libs, white shit libs. It's a holiday for federal workers, but some state employees still have to go to work. Yeah, they did. Yes, a lot of state employees had to work. So I'm like, imagine hating black people so much you're mad about getting a day off. Like why? Just to spite what? Just to spite the left? Yeah, that's a real great political strategy. This is why I was trying to drill into like a lot of people's heads, and I'm like, the black men gains in the Republican Party are not because of your policy positions. It's because they really hate Biden and the Democrats right now for screwing everything up. So as soon as something else shows up, you're going to lose all that support. You're not going to maintain that support because you offer nothing. You basically say, sit in the back and shut up. We don't care what you have. Any of your issues, we don't care. This is why I was with Echo and people like Cube and all that who are just like, yo, just put out the black agenda. And if they say no, go, you're not getting a vote. Either you do this or no vote, period. Just abstain. The American political divide is not in search of truth, but in search of victory of their perceived enemies. Yeah. This is why I don't actually smack down on progressives all that often, because I really don't. It's really like the actual progressives, because I know a bunch of actual progressives. They're not these crazy, screeching, whiny babies. Those are mostly shit libs who call themselves progressives. And the actual progressives hate them. This is why I'm like, I can tell the difference between the two. Right? I think I don't side with that. Like, we agree on the problems, but when we get outside of solutions, that's where we tend to break off. But we don't end up screaming at each other, calling each other Nazis and shit. Right? That tends to be shit libs. That's what they do. I said it's like a lot of people can have trouble distinguishing them because, you know, they can't, because shit libs call themselves progressives all the time because they think it's trendy. I was like, I don't perceive like actual progressives as an enemy. They're just somebody I don't think their solutions would work. I think as far as enemies of the people, I think that's both parties. In terms of the state, that's both parties. That's the enemy of the people. And that includes state allies, like the media. Because I'm like, those are the people who are causing most of this problem.
I didn't just blame this on the actual culprit, which is white supremacy.
Oh, yes.
I don't know how it's tied to white supremacy,
You're right.
but that's what this is. Truly, that's the truth, okay?
Who said that? Okay, just make up a straw man. That's cool.
Just got to get ahead of that.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. We should be a little more respectful right now because
yeah, we really should. We really should.
That's the truth. I mean, speaking of Juneteenth, I mean, apparently, okay, it's an African-American, a black holiday, and they're all celebrating it. We all love it, even though we have no idea what it really means, just like everything else.
Yeah, you guys don't. Speak for yourself. Don't speak for us.
Yeah, no, I honestly bet if you went to the inner cities and was like, hey, what's Juneteenth about? People would be like,
they have no idea.
Know.
Just another reason to,
I'm going to go make that video just to prove that, yeah, Juneteenth, even in the black community, they don't care.
I mean, look at so they had a celebration.
Because as a whole, it doesn't do anything. We know what it is. It's just as a whole, the whole acknowledging it as a federal holiday doesn't actually result in tangible outcomes. That's why mostly it's like, don't care. I was like, okay, cool, make it a holiday. I don't care. This doesn't put anybody any closer to the end goals as far as a black agenda. It doesn't get us any closer to any end goals, which is why I was like, I'm indifferent to it. I really don't care. I'll take the extra day off.
In DC, and a Juneteenth celebration in DC. A teen was killed. An officer was injured at DC Juneteenth shooting, and the suspect, yes, was a young black male. Here's footage. It looks crazy. Here's footage.
And I looked up this case as of right now. As of right now, this case, there's like nothing on it because I was looking it up. We don't even have a motive yet, but we're already going to talk about it.
footage of someone just popping shots off this black kid at Juneteenth celebration, and everyone's just running for their lives. Take a look.
Why is that funny? No, like for real. Why is that funny? Oh, bro, that would be funny. I mean, I'm tempted to. That would be funny. But then again, I'm like, this is like I said, these guys are here to be for a white audience. They're not actually like talking to like a Hispanic audience. They're talking to a white audience. What about Chicago even during a holiday? Yeah, whatever happened? Oh yeah, you don't hear about Chicago much anymore. Oh yeah, because that talking point's gone. Now that the whole, Buffalo fell into the background. Now that whole Chicago thing disappeared again. Don't worry. The next time the police kill a black man, I'm sure they'll be there. Chicago will be relevant again magically to them. Because we know how this works. But I'm asking, why are they laughing at the fact that somebody was fucking a kid was shot and killed? How is that funny?
Video, if people getting killed, I'm not laughing at that. It's so ironic to see that these people are celebrating, oh yes, the slaves being free, even though we don't have any idea what this date means. It's our people receiving freedom. It's for us. It's our exclusive holiday. Yes.
Who said it's our exclusive holiday? And when did any of us say anything like that? What? We're not stupid, dude.
We're all going to come together as one big happy community and just shoot each other because we love each other so much and we want to celebrate being free by killing each other. I mean,
oh, you don't even want to go down that route. Aren't you Hispanic? Oh, because I grew up on a line between a black and Hispanic community. I don't think you want to fucking go there, my guy. I don't think this dude wants to go there because y'all do that shit too. Okay, because most crime is... Now, the funny thing is, before this video, he had a fucking... he was talking more about transing the kids. I couldn't help notice everyone there was white, but he didn't mention the word white one time. Interesting. There's that colorblindness the right loves so much. Selective colorblindness. Now he wants to shit on black people saying, oh, look, they all say they love each other and then they shoot each other. Bitch, have you been to a poor Hispanic community? I know you have. Because they fucking kill each other all the time, too. The gangs do that shit there, too. You don't even have a motive for this crime because I looked up this fucking case and there's no motive yet. There hasn't been a motive for 2 days. I've been watching it for 2 days. So you didn't even know the context in which the shooting happened. That's why I'm like, what the fuck are you shit talking black people for? Because you have no room for this. Aren't y'all the ones human trafficking people? I'm sorry. If we're going to make this racial, which you clearly want to make it racial, aren't y'all the ones human trafficking people? You have gangs too, bro. Like I said, I grew up on the line of a black and Hispanic community. There was no gangs on the black side. There was a gang on the Hispanic side. I had nothing against them. They were nice to me. Growing up, I never had a problem with them. But the crime in that area, that's where it was coming from. Not the black people, but I'm not attributing it to them. I'm not mocking them because of their race or anything. Right? A lot, like I said, it comes down to like when they try to do 1350. And when you break that down, a lot of it is actually gang violence. It's happening in gang heavy areas, but they'll label it black on black crime. They'll attribute, like I said, a small subsection of, a population to all of us. Weird how with Hispanics, notice they don't make him do this on the show, right? Notice TPUSA, they don't have him come up here and talk about how much Hispanics suck. It's weird what you can get away with here because I don't know. Has TPUSA ever promoted anybody pro-black? Because if they have, let me know because I don't remember. I can't think of any. Jew is an ideologue. Michael Malice destroyed him on. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Dude, he's just like, I remember, you can tell when he's auditioning for a role. He was auditioning so hard for TPUSA for like the longest time. As the you know, a moral outraged person. I'm just pointing out that I was like, hey man, when I watch him, I've seen him on here before. He has nothing nice but nice things to say about, you know, Hispanic communities and Hispanic culture. It's weird that on TPUSA you can allow Hispanic people to come on and talk nice and, you know, promote Hispanic thing, but you can't find a pro-black conservative to put on TPUSA. All the quote-unquote black conservatives you bring in are like these tap dancers that just shit-talk black people. This is why I say anti-black racism and not just racism. Because it seems to be it's only bent towards a certain group of people. They don't go after everybody. Right? You don't see the right go after Asians. You don't see the right go after Hispanics. You tend to see their vitriol come out with black people. That's where the vitriol comes out.
I say this all the time on the show. This community hates itself. I mean, you take a look at the numbers in all the inner cities.
Oh, there we go. I knew it. 1350. 1350 was going to be somewhere because that's what that means when they go, well, just look at the numbers. Black people don't hate themselves. What the fuck? Because of gang violence? In this case, you don't even have a motive for this case. Okay. Hispanic gangs kill Hispanic people all the fucking time because I lived near it. But I don't remember him ever saying, like, for example, the Mexican community hates themselves because they traffic their own or because they're shooting their own in the poor areas. I'm just pointing this out. But,
The black on black crime is through the roof. So that's why anytime I see stuff like this, it's like I can't take it serious because I'm not going to take you serious about loving one another until you actually love one another.
Dude, this stuff.
Like I said, Hispanic on Hispanic crime rates are high as well. See, isn't it funny how they can just like weaponize these instances? They'll always do the numbers are the numbers game. They'll play that game because they don't want to go into the numbers because when we go into the numbers, it tells a bit more of a story. They don't want to do that part. But see, who is he talking to right now? Like, this is resonating with his audience. So then, you know, like I said, his audience is like a bunch of racist white conservatives. Because I don't know who the fuck this is supposed to be, who else this is supposed to be targeting. Like, I don't get it. Because I don't say anything nasty. I've spent tons of time in lower income Hispanic communities. They have problems. I don't dislike them. I have nothing but mostly nice things to say about them. Except, could y'all chill on the fireworks, please? Those who've lived there know what I'm talking about. Just the fireworks. Everybody else there was always nice to me. And just like in the black community, as I was right there in, everybody liked each other. Nobody liked the people who were causing the violence. Nobody did. It didn't matter what, if it was interracial or fucking, or what. It didn't matter. Nobody liked them.
Stats don't lie, and again, it's ridiculous.
Oh, right. The stats don't lie, but you do, if you know that quote. You know, statistics never lie. Liars use statistics.
That we can't even speak out about this issue without being called racist, right? It's like, oh, why are you targeting the black community? And it's like, one, the statistics don't lie. Two, this looks like an average weekend in Chicago. Three,
oh, there's Chicago again. Oh, it's back again. And see, there we go. See, we're talking about honestly, and they call us racist. Yeah, because you're being racist. Because one, why are you attacking Juneteenth like this? Two, you're attacking black people like this. And two, you don't even know where 1350 comes from. You just like that number and just want to throw it out there. Right? They'll do that thing where it's like, well, 1350, That's the truth. Yeah, technically it is the truth. Let's go into why it's like that. But no, we don't do that.
Why is this such a normal thing in this community? Maybe we should look at the rates of fatherlessness and how that directly relates to crime and education.
Is that all y'all can say? There we go with the no fathers. Did TPUSA ever criticize white fathers for the fact that they spend very little amounts of time with their kids? I don't remember them ever bringing that up because statistically that's the case. Because the only thing whenever they say no fathers, all they can bring up is marriage rates. Marriage rates are not fatherlessness rates. Those are not the same thing.
And maybe what that community's family life looks like and why these things are happening. But no, we're the racists for pointing that out.
You don't want to look into why it's happening, because when people bring up why it's happening, there's tons of people who can come on. TPUSA could platform to talk about why it's happening, and they don't. Stop playing like they act like we can't figure out why this is happening because they don't want to have an honest conversation. There are tons of black conservatives that could debunk or break down everything they're saying. Will you ever see them on mainstream right-wing channels? Nope. You don't see them. Take it on for a second. It's either for something irrelevant or they get yeeted. Right? This is why you're not going to see, you're not going to see your Sonny Johnsons or your Larry Sharps or your Maj Touré's on here. There's a reason for that, even though they could address these issues easily. They want to play the dumb card and act like we don't know why this is happening and we can't have an honest conversation because the left will call us racist. It's like, well, yeah, because you're being racist. And you won't platform anybody who can debunk what you're saying. Yeah, the Uvalde shooter was Mexican, and I don't hear anybody talking about what's going on in Mexican culture. Well, why is this happening? I didn't see a father in his home. Is there issues with fathers there? It's sort of like how, Hispanic community has a very high, quote unquote, low marriage rate, right? Very high. I think it's over 50% now. It's somewhere between 50 and 60. Again, not fatherlessness, no marriage, because that's where the stat comes from. I don't hear anyone ever bringing that up. Because the whole marriage thing, that's been raising universally. It's been raising universally, but somehow it's black culture. I don't know how that works. Tiffany's good deed in her life. She talks too much. I know. Someone needs to tell her to just shut her mouth. Just shut up and look good. Because you sound dumb. You sound dumb when you open your mouth.
It's just you're a racist if you just disagree with them. At the end of the day, you just are a racist. At this point, that's what they teach. It's like you're just born a racist. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're white. Doesn't matter if you're black. Doesn't matter if you're brown.
So they're grasping at the shit libs who always go like, white people are born right, who push that nonsense to try and they're trying to use that as a shield. Because you can easily call them racist for making this and point out all the reasons, as I have, why what they're saying is racist. But they'd rather do that. Let's go find the dumbasses who are going to say that and not be able to articulate why, because they're just ideological idiots. And we'll use that as our shield because that's what they tend to do.
You are a racist, and you are born this way because you are racist. So therefore, you need to bow down to our programming to unplug you and make you better.
Drew, it's just
That's
so
literally
exhausting.
critical race
It's just
theory.
so
It's like you were just by
exhausting.
default a racist.
I've gotten to
That's
the point where it's like,
critical
I don't
race
even want to
theory.
do political commentary on this anymore because it's the same thing over and over again. It's just this constant cycle of insanity. And
Good, she shouldn't, because she sounds like a fucking retard. It's biological determinism for white conservatives. Black people are animals and violent by nature. Yeah, that's basically the shit they always are fucking bringing it down to. Right? When you really start to fucking tear into their arguments, a lot of it will come down to race realism. Eventually, once they get trapped and realize they have no arguments, they'll start to fall back on that. They don't even want to talk about fucking their own problems. They don't even want to talk about all the white on white crime going on right now. They don't even want to talk about Europe. You see all the white on white crime going on in Europe? Man, they're killing women, children, just bombing civilians. They don't give a fuck. But apparently that doesn't count as white on white crime. See, that counts as international conflict. See, that's different. That's not white on white crime.
How are we ever even going to get out of this? I don't know. I have no idea. I've gotten blackpilled a little bit just because my heart hurts for the state of America.
We keep waking people up. Savannah, where can people follow you right now? Your website?
Dear Lord. See, this, luckily, see, here's the thing. Even though I can't stand people like this, they do somewhat serve a purpose in the political ecosystem. Like people like your Tatums too, right? Your Daily Wires, they do serve a purpose that can be useful. But the hard part is, you know, people have to have that. Everybody's got to have that like boomer conservative phase. Sometime once people start coming over, usually if people come out of that like shit lib area and they go into their moderate phase, eventually they tend to latch on to places like this and they go through their fucking like boomer conservative phase. And then sometimes that's the hard part, is getting them out of their boomer conservative phase into realizing, yo, both of these people are against you. Both sides are against you. But they can sometimes serve a useful purpose. But when you say shit like this, and that's not even the worst part, it even gets worse. Hold up. Because it's not only TPUSA who has to do it. Of course, Daily Wire's got to get in on it too. No shock there. Even Daily Wire's got to get on it. And I'm like, how are you going to expect, like, after all the shit we've seen, how are you going to openly say all that shit and then go, I don't know why black people vote Democrat? How does that make any sense? Like, how you spew all that open vitriol. It amazes me how stupid some of these people are. Because some of these people are that dumb. They'll call you a hard R to your face and then go, now vote for us. Why would I do that? I come with you with no offers and you're a hard R. Vote for us. Why would I do that?
Actually living in a theocracy of sorts right now. But our theocratic dictators belong to the religion of leftism. Now, like any religion, this one has its own holy days of obligation. We're living through, of course, its most sacred observance of Pride Month. Competing with it for attention is the leftist religious holiday that just passed, which was Juneteenth.
Okay, see, here's already my problem. See, this is exactly what I was talking about 2 seconds ago. How are you going to take this, make it a left issue, and then say vote for us? Right? I don't get this. Black people are fine with Juneteenth being a holiday, right? A lot of people are. This is the fragile white conservatives, but it's the same idea when I was saying earlier. If I'm quote unquote, if you think I'm all of a sudden I'm right wing as long as I'm on certain issues, and then as soon as I go over to say like black issues, black history, everything, you say it's wokeness and leftism. Is that not telling black people go over there? Is that not just saying, yo, your issues are over there? I don't want to hear it. And then they go, I don't understand why we can't get the black vote. Maybe because you keep saying black issues are left wing. Maybe that's why. This is why I keep saying stay out of it. Just withhold your vote. Make demands and withhold your vote from both sides. The Afro comb? I don't look, the Afro comb I just thought was dumb. I didn't really like care. I just kind of thought I was like, eh. I mean, I like the style of the comb. I have one of those. because they are nice. There's a statue. I'm like, eh.
Which fell on Sunday and then was observed as a federal holiday on Monday. Supposedly, the day is meant to commemorate the abolition of slavery and to celebrate freedom. A worthy thing to celebrate, no doubt. But that's not really the intention of those who advocate for this version of the holiday.
This is why I said the right, if they actually wanted to, why don't they set an example? I mean, we know why, but I was saying just one up and go, okay, we're going to celebrate it and we're going to make it about that. Then you one up them and then that pisses them off. They would probably be willing to do it if it was on any other issue. Like, I don't know, maybe the alphabet or something. Then they'll do it. But I've always said on the right, black people's a hard line. They're like, nope. That's where they'll go, nope.
Wasn't the intention of Joe Biden when he made it a federal holiday last year. Now, let's recall that a year before that, on the campaign trail, so in 2020, a year before making it a federal holiday, Biden didn't even know what Juneteenth was. Let's watch this again.
He's going down to Texas on Juneteenth,
Oh, yeah,
right?
we saw this.
The first major massacre, literally speaking, of the Black Wall Street, right? Years ago. And he's going to have a rally. Going to have a rally. And he doesn't wear a mask. And he doesn't think this. I mean, come on.
You know, he's so unsure of himself. He keeps saying,
think about it.
Right? That's what, right? This is the right thing. No, wrong. That's not what Juneteenth is. But of course, you know, and this is actually the evolution of Juneteenth, and the reason why it became a thing is partly the BLM riots, but even more than that.
What I don't know. What is his obsession with BLM? You notice he can't let he likes to bring that up like every 2 seconds. It's white victimhood and BLM. What the fuck did BLM appease BLM? Were they bitching? I don't remember BLM bitching about this. I remember individual activists saying this, saying we would like Juneteenth as a holiday. Of course, Biden's gonna do it because it's an easy pander. He doesn't mean anything. I don't care about the comb as well. America's a republic. Cities and countries can do as they wish, including erecting a George Floyd. Okay, yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, if they want to do that, okay. Yeah, like I'll think it's stupid or a waste of money. Or in case of the George Floyd statue, straight up disrespectful. Like that was like a fucking spit in the eye. But at least I'm like, yeah, if they want to do it, okay. Candace is doing, yeah, I saw that. She's doing a documentary on BLM. Candace is just mad because BLM grifted better than she did. She's just mad about that. What did Blexit bring in? Like 20 mil, and BLM brought in like 90 mil? Bro, she's the vindictive type. She is definitely salty about that because she failed as a left-wing grifter. Her whole organization, like Blexit, that's literally just right-wing BLM.
It was because Donald Trump was doing a rally on June 19th, and someone in the media pointed out that, oh, you know, that's Juneteenth. And then everyone in the country pretended they knew what it was so that they could blame Trump for doing something offensive for some reason by having a rally on Juneteenth. And it was at that moment that the left decided, oh, this is a thing now. We're going to make this a thing nationwide. 12 months after that, Biden, who had never even heard of it, but now 12 months later decided that it was so deeply meaningful that it needed to be federally recognized. During his remarks for the signing of the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act, Biden said that Juneteenth is a, quote, day in which we remember the moral stain, the terrible toll that slavery took on the country and continues to take, and that we must, quote, learn from our history and celebrate progress and grapple with the distance we've come, but the distance we have to travel.
Okay. The funny thing is Biden saying, you know, what we still have going on today. And it's like, yeah, Biden, I think Biden knows a lot of what we have going on today was because of him. A lot of the reason a lot of people are locked up, you know, we're getting life for like fucking crack was because of Biden. A lot of these areas that were targeted was because of Biden. He's speaking about himself. The bill passed bipartisan. I know. That's why I'm like, what are you mad about? You get a free holiday. You don't have to celebrate it. You could just ignore it. It would be like, okay, they're literally doing the most strategically dumb thing they could do. At best is one up. And if you don't want to do that, just ignore it. Just go, I enjoyed the day off and move on. But vitriolically attacking it is the dumbest fucking strategy I've seen. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm not surprised 14 Republicans voted against it. It's just sheer stupidity on his side. Yeah, because his role on Daily Wire is for the overly emotional, unintelligent white conservative. They all serve their roles for their audience, and that's his. Because if you've seen his audience, they're just those over-emotional, not very smart. They just react. They don't think things through. They just react to things with moral outrage. That's all they do. By selling them, things like they're out to get white people and stuff. Because he makes everything about the white victimhood complex. He did that shit with Buffalo. That was crazy. I was like, how did you throw in white victimhood somewhere in there? That's like the one place I didn't think you could jam it in there, but he managed. Oh, shit. Where was I?
But that wasn't enough. The reparations of looting wasn't enough because in the religion of...
Oh, God. We're
12 months after that, Biden, who had never even heard of it, but now 12 months later decided that it was so deeply meaningful that it needed to be federally regulated by white people. And it's also a time to dwell on the supposed systemic injustices still visited upon black people by white people. White guilt is the original...
Whoa. No one said it by white people. See, this is the white victimhood complex. Hold up. Let me go back just a little bit to get the full context for that. Whoa, because I was like, that wasn't the argument. The argument is not about getting back at white people.
So Juneteenth is not so much a celebration of freedom as it is an opportunity to reflect on the moral stain somehow shared by people who had nothing to do with slavery at all. And it's also a time to dwell on the supposed systemic injustices still visited upon black people by white people.
Not the argument. It's by the argument is by the federal government. But, if got a fearmonger, throw in the white victimhood.
White guilt is the original sin of the leftist religion. It's really the only sin, as every other sin they recognized always ties back to whiteness, quote unquote. Juneteenth then becomes like maybe their version of Good Friday, a day of atonement. And that is why the media marked Juneteenth this year with talk of reparations. Time magazine.
Oh my God. Oh, this gets the white ignorance angry. Oh, when reparation comes up, that gets them angry. Because they don't know what it's about. Juneteenth is now a national holiday. Are reparations next? That is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard. Because shit libs, it's like, yeah, recognizing Juneteenth, of course they can like do that because they don't have to do anything. Reparations actually require them doing something, and that's what they don't want to do. So no, it's not coming next.
Magazine headline: Juneteenth is now a national holiday. Are reparations next? Many similar headlines were published, claiming that reparations must come next. It's the natural next step after Juneteenth. Representative...
I don't know who is telling them to say that. I don't see how those two link into one another. Oh, okay.
Sheila Jackson Lee attended a worship service at a church in Houston for Juneteenth, where she called for exactly that, reparations. Listen.
As the pastor said, it is time for the commission to study slavery and develop reparation proposals so that we can heal the land and heal the nation.
Absolutely. I remember this. There was multiple bills that just looked into the effects of not receiving new reparations and the history of slavery. And the Republicans were arguing against it. And I was like, that just tells me the reparations are needed, because why would you try to not even look into it? If your argument is so solid that black people don't need it, why are you refusing to look into it? Why won't you do it? Because that just tells me you have no fucking argument. Because every argument I've heard from the right against reparations has nothing to do with the actual argument because they don't actually know what it is. So I'm like, nothing she said here is wrong. If your argument is so solid against reparations, you don't need to fight against a bill that just looks into it. And even make proposals, because guess what? The proposals can be voted against. Does Matt Walsh know that Sheila Jackson is the sponsor of the bill that has been in the House since about 2000? No, he doesn't know that because he doesn't look into this stuff. Some people he'll just fucking defend because he'll go, they're right wing, I'm right wing, gotta defend them. But a lot of the stuff he doesn't. He's the least knowledgeable of the what, 5. Actually, wait, no. Actually, I think Candace is the dumbest. Then I would say Walsh the second.
I expect that there will be, as it is understood, no snatching from someone else. No one is going to knock on your door and snatch something that you have. But the nation,
100% true. It's not about stealing from other people.
Will acknowledge and be able to respond to the challenge of, this is Bostic, that we all should learn, we all should read, we all should have an equal opportunity education and healthcare. That's what we want.
Okay, that's where you lost me, because Daryl Davis did this too. Please, for the love of God, do not make reparations about education and healthcare. That's not what it is. It's not about that. It's about land. I ain't accepting anything else, and I don't think anybody else should either. Because we've already done this. Let me see. Douglas Murray and his team drinking ass wrote op-ed saying reparations events against white people. I did a video on that one. I did a video on that whole article about reparations being revenge against white people. And I'm like, nobody's coming to get you. Black people aren't thinking about coming to get you, right? Because they emotionally react to the left-wing ignorance, right? Like MSNBC will intentionally prop up, those black faces who will be like, or those people like in BLM, they'll like prop them up saying like the rioting and looting is our reparations. And it's like, nobody thinks that. Like the actual proponents of reparations are like, no, but they put them up there on purpose. So then the right has an easy straw man to attack, and it's a game because the Dems don't want to do it either. So they're gonna put up idiots. They're gonna put up morons. So that the right can argue against straw men, and then it can't get anywhere. Many ADOS people don't even respect Sheila Jackson. I heard she's Jamaican. I saw in the what's it, like the council they're doing with what was it in California for the reparations proposal, like they have a bunch of Africans on there, and like they even have an Asian dude, and I'm like, why are they there? Not to mention like half of the committee is supposed to be picked by the state, and I'm like, yeah, I don't trust Newsom to pick people to argue on our behalf.
The nation to respond to the systemic treatment that has caused a divide.
There will be no snatching, she says. We're not going to snatch anything. She perhaps hasn't noticed that there's quite a lot of snatching going on in our cities right now. A lot was happening during the BLM riots.
Holy shit, that is racist as fuck. What does BLM rioting have to do with reparations? Like, damn, that's just blatantly racist. Like, what the fuck? All that shit Antifa was stealing? Did we just forget about them? Remember, it was the Antifa riots. It was the 2020 Antifa riots. Then it became Antifa BLM, and then it just became BLM later. And then we all forgot about Antifa, which is exactly what they wanted you to do, by the way. So good job, useful idiots. While y'all were saying Antifa's a bunch of stupid college kids, when I was warning, they're not. They're very smart. They just know how to weaponize stupidity. Not to mention, those Antifa leaders telling people when Trump was trying to make Antifa a terrorist organization, saying hide in BLM, cover your tattoos if you have them, and wear BLM stuff when you go out there. They were like openly saying shit like that on Twitter. It was crazy, but yeah, reparations not about snatching anyone. And then he pulled up a fucking riot and tried to make him that about it. Damn, bro. But I'm saying, like, and again, this is why I said, like, these black conservatives they're propping up aren't black conservatives, because most black conservatives are with reparations. But anybody who's pro reparations, apparently that's how he sees us.
And that snatching was explicitly justified as an act of reparations, although she did say...
No, it wasn't. I remember doing a video on this. No, this is why I said... Remember I said these people on the fucking left, these assholes who do this, who talk about rioting and looting being a form of reparations, how I said that pisses me off because that gives easy strawmans for idiots like him to attack? Like I said, the people who prop up their voices and put them on the news, they know exactly what they're doing. They're not stupid. They know what they're doing. Well, I'm always like, I can't stand these niggas who do this, bro. It's just as damaging as people like Tatum who try to argue against it with nonsense. And fucking Larry Elder, people like him. I was like, those people are just as bad, if not fucking worse.
Nobody's going to knock on your door and snatch something. So maybe that's the technicality here. Is that generally when they do the snatching and the looting, they don't knock on the door first. They just walk in. So I guess in a way, she's right.
Who is they? Who do you mean by they right now? Because we were talking about BLM, but reparations is about BLM. So who is they right now? Who are we talking about? I think we know what this means.
But that wasn't enough. The reparations of looting wasn't enough because in the religion of leftism, nothing is ever actually enough.
There it is again. Reparations is a left-wing issue. I don't know why they don't vote for us. Your issue is left-wing. I don't know either.
To wash away the white guilt and heal the racial wounds. So now the nation must respond by giving more free things to people like Sheila Jackson Lee.
It's not free. It was paid for with 400 years of free labor. I try to watch Matt Walsh just after the stream. Oh, good luck with that. Well, holy shit, bro. I still love this whole like I said, this is because we don't teach black history, this whole giving out free shit. I was like, what's free? You got 400 years of unpaid labor you never paid for. You think that shit just disappears? You think that debt just goes away? Sheila Jackson isn't even leftist. She's your standard Dem. Like, basically shit libs, because that's what mainstream Dems usually are. Or is an actual liberal. Because those are different. There's like leftist, progressive, liberal, shit lib. They're all they're a little bit different.
Who was never enslaved and yet demands payment for sins committed by long dead people against other long dead people.
Or a promise made by the federal government. The federal government took out a debt and they have yet to pay it. Just because they tried to wait it out, that's not our fault. Don't put that on us. The federal government should have paid it out, right? Lincoln died when that shit was, that shit was getting work on. That's when Lincoln got shot. And then Andrew Johnson took over and started coming in with the splaining to make sure the funniest part was, even when you read like Andrew Johnson, all his excuses and why he shot it down, it was funny. He literally tried to pull the what about white people? He literally tried that. Like, we can't just give things out like to individuals based on race. And I was like, slave owners got reparations 2 years before he said that. Or no, sorry, I think 4 or 5 years before he said that. That's funny.
This makes no sense until you understand it properly as a religious claim. That's why
Reparations is a religious claim? What the fuck? Okay.
there's no hint of patriotism in the Juneteenth celebrations. Not patriotism for, America at any rate. The flags that adorned the Juneteenth Google Doodle were not American flags, but Pan-African flags.
What's wrong with Pan-Africanism? I mean, I'm not all in on it 100%, but I'm like, what's wrong with that? Why does that upset people so much? Also, the companies like Google, who the fuck runs Google? Niggas ain't running Google.
And those, in fact, are the flags you see flying for every Juneteenth celebration. This is the flag that students in at least one school were forced to swear their allegiance to in honor of Juneteenth. Watch this.
Fist up. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the Afro-American people. Under God, I will protect freedom, seek peace, honor our ancestors, and encourage and support the development and prosperity of people of African descent. You may be seated.
Was this an all-black classroom, like in an all-black school? Because, I mean, if it was, and they voluntarily did it, then fine. But if it was somewhere else, like, and they're kind of like making them do it, okay, not a fan. Because since you can't even do that with the American flag, not a fan. You don't support. I didn't say I did either. I just said I really don't care. There's a red, blue, and ADOS flag. I want to see that. Oh wait. Are you talking about the? I might know which one you're talking about. I'd have to see it. Is that the one that's similar to the American flag, but with the alternative color palette? I mean, if the kids wanted to take part in it, right? For cultural reasons or whatever, I don't see a problem with this. I'm just like, okay, whatever. This is really not the end of the world to me. I understand why for more fragile white people, it seems like, oh no, because they always seem to think we're coming to get them or something. And it's like, damn, we don't think about you that like they think we're thinking about them all the time.
Now, whatever a holiday actually celebrating freedom and emancipation could be, and it could be a wonderful, wonderful thing. Actually, we know that because we already have one. It's called July 4th.
Oh, there's that all Americans now. Because when it's black people, it changes to we're all Americans. See, when it's something black, it shifts to we're all Americans. I never hear on the Hispanic holidays. I don't ever hear that all Americans bullshit then. It always changes. If it's such a great thing, that could be a wonderful thing, then why don't you set the example? Because then you will look like the good guy.
And that's wonderful. That's a true patriotic celebration. But whatever else it could be, it's not this. That's not what Juneteenth, as it has been established now, is about. The spirit of Juneteenth is best summarized by Melina Abdullah, who's professor.
Okay, like I could go take 4th of July celebrations run by Klansmen. Right? I can pull things out too. I can pull things out of fucking context too. Or pull out the most wacky parts of something and go, Why is it like this? I can play that game too. This is a stupid argument.
Professor of Pan-African Studies at Cal State in LA, and she tweeted this: "Attention white people, please don't ask if you can come to the cookout. Juneteenth is Freedom Day for black folks. It should be Reparations Day for white folks."
Okay. Again, like I said, these are the people I already said I don't fucking like, because this just gives fuel for people like him and other ignorant ass Republicans to fucking go, see, it's about getting white people. It's about getting white people, right? It's like, okay, so there's some fucking angry black woman who's just saying some stupid shit. All right. Just like the way y'all don't like it when people will pull out like the most extreme parts of like white nationalists and go, this is conservatives. And it's like, so why the fuck you doing that with black people? And a white star in the center with a flag. I know the one. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. I've seen it. They showed it in the last video. Personally, I prefer the Betsy Ross flag as the best American flag, and that's the only one I will use. And people are always saying, why not use just the regular American flag? And I'm like, if we gain or lose a state, y'all gonna regret it. My flag will still look good. Yours will be askew. Yours is gonna look dumb. Mine will still look fine.
Right. Racial division, hierarchy. This is an important aspect of the leftist religion. Not a day for everyone, she says. Certainly not a time for everyone to join in the festivities. You leprous white people must stay hidden away, wallowing in your guilt, while superior races of people can just party on without you.
Did she say that? Did she say that? Okay, we're gonna do this for 4th of July. Let's go try to find like a fucking Klan rally for 4th of July. Let's go find some Klansmen celebrating for 4th of July. And we'll use that as our example of why black people should not celebrate 4th of July. Do you think we'll get the same response? The tweet was stupid but benign. If you hate black people, why would you want to go to the... Yeah, really, like what the fuck? There's no loss then. I was just like, I don't care about what some stupid idiot said on Twitter. Okay, she's a professor. All right, there are a lot of... Like I said, there are a lot of stupid-ass right-wing people who put out stuff that's just as stupid who are in prominent positions of power. And, like, I can selectively pull stuff out to form a narrative, too. It's really easy to do.
The most crucial thing to remember about this religion is that it is, fully by design, destructive and ugly. The religions that it supplants tend to strive for joy and beauty, but not the religion of leftism, which is why it prowls the country looking for beautiful, priceless monuments and statues and works of art to topple. And then
oh, we're going to go with the freaking pic. I have pictures of the pic. I got pictures of the pic somewhere else. I'll get the pictures of the pic. I saw it and I just thought it was fine. It was dumb. Where was the other one? Now, did you see... Oh, I have that one too. I could... How am I doing on time? I have a little time left. Did you see this? This was funny. Oh, shit libs are funny. Shit libs are always endlessly funny. These are the people they try to refute. You get people like this. You get these people.
Hey, it's that time of year again where white people can't wait to get really tan. And Latinos también, bronceaditos, quemaditos. If you're a white person, you can't wait to get super tan and you can't say Black Lives Matter and you're not an ally and you can't stand for your Black, brown, indigenous, people of color, friends, and family, then do everyone a favor and tanning is not for you.
You know she shows this off to her white women friends, and you know she's probably got a fucking BLM sign in her fucking yard. With you know she's probably got a fucking BLM t-shirt. Wait, what's up? Has Matt Wealth questioned the white shit libs who push this stupidity? No. About this? No, not about that topic. I was pointing this out because I'm like, see, this is the face of shit liberty talking about. You know she thinks she's pro-black. You know this lady is someone who thinks she's pro-black because she bought a BLM t-shirt. Oh man, these are the people I'm talking about, right? They don't do anything. They'll make some stupid shit about fucking tanning and shit. These are the people who go out to fucking, you know, the protests. These are the people who are, what's it called, pro-vax mandate, despite the fact that and pro-lockdowns, despite for the fact those, you know, like I said, those hurt certain groups of people more than others. You know this shit's fucking stupid. What does it say? Man, y'all boring. You fell for the bait? I hope it's a joke, but I live in LA and I've met too many people like this. Always like fucking 30s white women. I've met too many people like this in LA. You'll see them all the time. You'll see them with BLM t-shirts. But at the same time, they have no clue about anything they're talking about. It's funny. They're fun to laugh at sometimes. I just hate when they actually, you know, fucking impact policy. Then we have a problem, which unfortunately they often do. Because when it comes to like Dems pandering, that's who they pander to. Whenever they're talking about that racial shit, whenever Dems go on like racial talks, that tends to be who they're pandering to. Not actual black people. So I point out, because a lot of these positions, I'm like, wait, I don't know anyone who actually holds these positions other than white people. There was more. Oh God, he's even worse. Look what white culture did, bro. Look what white culture did. White culture is so lost now that they kicked out a 66-year-old man who they kicked him out from donating blood because he wouldn't answer whether or not he was pregnant. What is going on in white culture, bro? What is going on in their culture? The word ally irks me. Performative allyship or real allyship. Like white people who grew up in the hood don't talk like shit. Yeah, I know. I've brought that up. Like there are white people who have grown up in these areas and know this shit inside and out. I don't know. I dated one. Right? Like hood Beckies, they know their shit. They never talk like this. They never said this ally shit and all this other garbage. They never use these terms. They know the subject. They just talk about the subject. Like they don't try to virtue signal to go like, I'm your ally or whatever the fuck. All right. So I'm like, that's why I can tell when I hear these certain words, I'm like, oh, I know what kind of person you are. Cause I've seen this literally happen to me once where I was walking to the gym and I was like in this one area because it goes like just past where the gentrification line is. So I'm on the white side walking through the middle class white side. And I walked by this fucking lady with her purse. I'm wearing my gym clothes, right? So I'm not looking like I'm not bumming it up or anything. As she like fucking grabs her purse and like moves away, like I'm looking down at my phone. I caught it in my eye. And then when she walks in our house, I look over. She's got the big fucking BLM signs in there. And I'm like, yeah, that seems about right. That seems about right. I'm like, if I don't, how do I look like the nigga that's going to rob you? I'm not even bumming it up. They're like fucking gym clothes. The hell? I'm like, yeah, these people are the ones who do shit like this. Where's the thing? So this, what country was this? It was a white country. I know it was. I'm trying to remember which one it was. Scotland. There we go. Sinclair from Scotland, because oh my God, I've seen the shit coming out of Scotland. Yeah, that place is a lost fucking cause. Was it Scotland? No, it was the UK. The UK made alphabet police cars. I don't know if you saw that. That was a long time ago. I think I did a video of that and I lost the video. But yeah, there was I'm pretty sure this was the UK. They made alphabet police cars. I'm like, the UK, Australia, and Scotland. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on in these fucking countries. Okay, Sinclair was asked to fill in a form which he had a question about whether he was expecting a child or had been pregnant in the last 6 months. At first, I was like, okay, they have these on like a lot of forms that are like you know when you get tax forms, it'll say if applicable after you mark male or female. For a second, I thought maybe they were referencing something like that, but nope. He said when he complained that as a man in his 60s, the question did not apply and he should not have to answer it. Sinclair said that the staff told him they could not accept his blood. Oh my God, bro, white people shit. I got to do the shirt. I still got to do the shirt. I started. I just got like a fuck ton of projects I'm working on right now. Yeah, Scotland's gone. I don't know what the hell's going on with them. Piers Morgan ripped them about telling their boys to stop wearing kilts. The Scottish, the SJW elite. Yeah, I've seen. I watch it as sort of like, you know, that train wreck. It's horrible, but you can't look away for some reason. It's like intriguing in a way. Sinclair, who has been donating blood since he was 18, was quoted as saying by the Daily Mail, "There is always a form to fill in, and that's fine. They tend to ask about medical conditions or diseases, and clearly that's because the blood needs to be safe. This time around, there was a question I hadn't seen before. Are you pregnant or have you been in the last 6 months?" Which required a yes or no answer. Like I said, it wasn't one of those forms where it said male, female, and then underneath, if applicable. He's saying they straight up said you have to answer that question. I pointed out to the staff that it was impossible for me to be in that position, but I was told I would need to answer, otherwise I couldn't give blood. I told them that was stupid and that if I had to leave, I wouldn't be back. And that was it. It's nonsensical and it makes me angry because there are vulnerable people waiting for blood, including children in desperate need of help, but they denied me my blood because of the obligation to answer a question that can't possibly be answered. Yeah, I mean, like I said, in white culture, they'll do this. They're like, yeah, people need blood, but we can't tell if this 60-year-old man is fucking pregnant. So we don't know if the blood's safe or not. This is fine. I'm okay with this. See, when I see stuff like this, part of me wants to be an accelerationist and just go, let's just hurry this up and see where the crash happens. I just want to see where it leads sometimes. As long as it stays in certain areas, I want to see the end result of this. I really do. Let me see. Meanwhile, Professor Mac Turner, director of the Scottish National Blood Transfusion Service, said that all potential donors are asked if they are pregnant to promote inclusiveness. Like I said, as long as it stays there, I want to see where this goes. He said, we appreciate the support of each and every one of our donor community and thank Mr. Sinclair for his commitment over a long number of years. Whilst pregnancy is only a relevant question to those whose biological sex or sex assigned at birth is female, sex assigned at birth is not always visual or clear to staff. But doesn't it already ask you at the start for your biological sex on blood donation forms? Isn't that like the first thing they ask you? And then always right underneath they have if applicable. As a public body, we take cognizance of changes in society around how such questions may be asked without discrimination and have a duty to promote inclusiveness. Therefore, all donors are now asked the same question. I really want to see where this ends. White culture is in a fix. The shit libs and far leftists believe it should be torn down due to some of the negative history, patriarchy and racism being the major baggage for white culture. Yeah, that tends to be. Well, it depends, because the far leftists and the shit libs are a little bit different. So when you say far leftist, like, what do you mean? Because when I hear far left, I'm thinking like the authoritarian left, like Antifa types. Shit libs are usually more so around like authoritarian center because they really just do whatever they're told. They don't really have any actual ideas. They just do whatever they're told. So when the media says female penis, they jump on and say female penis too, so they can virtue signal. The far left will say it because they're fucking crazy. So I'm like, I mean, racism and patriarchy are not the only baggage for white culture. You also have mass amounts of violence too. We've seen it. They have an issue with violence, and they have an issue. Okay, yeah, you are referring to the Antifa types. They have a serious issue with when they think their culture is superior to others. So when their culture decays, they try to spread it because they're always trying to spread it. So now when in white culture, a popular position is female penis, now they're trying to spread that shit to other communities that are like, no, that's stupid. Please leave. Right? When the popular thing in white culture is transing the kids, right? And like drag shows and all that, they're trying to spread it. They've been trying to get it in black communities, and they have had some success with Gen Z black women. That's where their success has been. As far as everyone else, it hasn't been working. Because anytime you see that like nonsense coming from a black face, most of the time it's going to be a Gen Z black woman. That's mostly who it comes from. Let me see. Also, where is it? Do you see also, I know this is a bit on the side because it came up. I don't know why there's people sharing this as like a win. Like on the right, did you see this? The transgender ruling on women's sports? I saw this. And I was reading through it because I saw like some people, a couple on the right. I remember like, I think ABL was referring to this as like a win for women's sports. And then I read the rules and I was like, wait a minute. This sounds fucking retarded. It's not even white culture per se. Mostly Central Europe, Eastern Europe's have this fuckery going on in the West. Yeah. Yeah. The Europe, like, oh God, parts of Europe just lost their fucking mind, as we've seen. They've just lost it. Scotland is still hilarious. But I saw this, and what this actually says, let me see if I can find it. What this actually says, hang on. So it voted on new eligibility rules. Now, the policy is the strictest form of any. Where is it? They opened an they established an open category, aka a male category, because that, let's be honest, that's what an open category will be. It's just going to be for the lesser athletic males, if we're being 100% honest. But essentially, what it says is that you can't, you can't participate in the swimming unless, like, if you're transgender, unless you haven't had experienced puberty as a male yet, or you have been on some sort of hormones or puberty blockers pre-age of 12. So it would kick off the people now they're complaining about. But I'm also like, bro, wouldn't the shit-lived parents who are all about like pushing this crap on their kids now want to get their kids on the drugs younger? Because now they go like, oh, well, if you think you're a girl and you want to compete, you got to take this shit now before, because there's no going back. If we go after 12 and you don't take it, you're screwed. So I'm like, wouldn't this be an incentive to have, I'm just telling you, these shit-lived parents, they'll do it. They'll be like, that's an incentive. Let's go. I personally don't care about trans peoples in sports. I expected the children who transition pre-puberty would be the most acceptable to participate. I'm laughing more so because this is women's fault. Women destroyed their own sports, and I think it's hilarious. I'm also just like, this ruling that I see people on the right praising. I'm like, this doesn't make sense, because if anything, this is an invitation to get your kids on drugs earlier. As far as trans in the sports, like, I just laughed at that. I thought it was funny. I said, I'll just enjoy the freak show. I don't fucking care. Because one, nobody gives a shit about women's sports. Let's be honest. And two, it's generally women who are okay with this. This is why it was controversial. I was the only one, like, in like a fucking group that was like, oh yeah, Leah Thomas is fine. They didn't do anything wrong. Leah Thomas, he did nothing wrong. He won fair. And people are like, what? I'm like, he didn't break any rules. And those dumb women chose to play the game. The athletic bodies aren't your parents? What do you mean? I'm like, look, because it's women. Like, when you look at the voting blocks for this nonsense, it's usually women who vote for like this trans inclusiveness stuff. Like when we saw in LA in We Spa, because the women who were okay with it, saying the bathrooms are the rights and everything, and then when it happened in We Spa, the women then who were protesting it were overwhelmingly Democrat women who vote for this. So I'm like, the fuck do I care? You're ruining yourself, right? This stuff only negative affects you. Don't affect me. Don't affect men. I'm like, I'm watching y'all tear yourselves apart. I just think it's funny. It's their job to implement rules to make things fair. I get it. I'm just saying this is not a win that the right thinks it is to getting trans men or trans women out of women's sports. All this says is, let's give an incentive to transition younger. Whether kids transition at 3 or 11, it's up to the parents. If not the Athletic Sports Association. I mean, fine if you want to put your stuff in your kids. I'm just saying, leave it in certain areas. You're gonna have a generation of really fucked up kids. I think we're gonna get a generation of really fucked up angry kids off this. Mostly women, because it's mostly women doing it. Because a lot of these people who are getting them on the drugs Like we saw with the Fox News one, that lady was telling her little boy she's a girl from 2 to 5, and then vocalized that he's a girl. So we were like, or he's a boy, and it was like, so it was like, oh no, then we did all this other shit, and then she's promoting a book, and I'm like, do you think maybe you telling your daughter he's a boy from 2 to 5 maybe had an impact on why he said I'm a boy at fucking 5? That's what I'm saying. Putting the kids, like, what the parents are doing is stupid. I'm just saying these rules are also dumb. I don't care about women's sports. Like I said, I just thought it was funny that everyone was cheering this as a win when I was like, this is an incentive to get kids on drugs younger. So I'm like, if you see this as a win, but the same problem is just going to come back in like, what, less than 10 years, like 5 years or so, when these 10-year-olds become 15. And let's be honest, women, because it's not going the other way around. That's like I said, I think it's funny. Women destroyed their own sports. That's hilarious. And they're not the ones walking out. So look, I ain't dumb. If I walk into a game and I know it's rigged, why would I play it? These women are walking into a game, they know it's rigged, they say it's rigged, and then they play it, and then they bitch when they lose. And I think that's fucking hilarious. It's like, good. Let these women learn the hard way. Just let them learn the hard way. I don't care, bro. Like, I just think it's funny. Accelerationism. Yeah. Like I said, the accelerationism is happening in certain areas of the country. We can keep it out of other areas. We can let the parts it's accelerating in, we can just let that shit go. The areas it's not, you can say, we're not doing it there. But as far as the leadership, yeah, it's going to keep accelerating because usually they're just going to keep doubling down. So I'm just like, fuck it, do it. As long as this stuff stays in white communities, okay, fuck it, accelerate it. I don't care. As long as they're stopped trying to spread it, then fine. Sometimes I'm at the point where I'm like, I almost want to help because I'm like, I don't give a fuck anymore. But no, I'm kidding. That's just me being pessimistic and wanting to start shit. Me being an enabler. TERFs would be a major deciding factor in determining whether women's spaces remain pure. Well, the TERFs would be considered right-wing now. So the TERFs would kind of have to ally with, I guess, the right, who they hate. It'd be funny. I mean, some TERFs have already done that. But otherwise, they don't have any other fucking options. That's all they got left. Title IX is only 50 years. So that was a mistake. Where is... Wait a minute. Oh, yeah. Where's it? Oh, I'm over. I am over. Hold up. Because I forgot I had to get to something. Let's turn this shit off. Totally forgot I had to get to something. I was trying to limit myself to 2 hours. I lost track of time. Whatever, I'm 10 over. I'm 10 minutes over. I'm trying not to be on nigga time. Title IX has allowed the creation of women's sports in colleges and high schools. That's true. But I mean, you look at what it's become. Shit seems like a mistake. But yeah, all right. I have to go because I was like, I promised I would cut it 2 hours. Trying not to be that guy. I'm not good with time. So thank you, everybody. for stopping by. It's fun. Try and get actually more individual videos out later. It's just I have a ton of projects going on, so I have no time to actually sit down and edit anything. So everybody have a great evening, and don't get shot, please, for real.